Hello everyone and welcome back. So today I thought I would discuss my EMG test. I posted about it on Instagram, but I did not go into many details about it. I know I mentioned on my story the day before that I was really nervous because I had read some articles that people had had really poor experiences with the test, and there was just a lot of not clear understanding about it. So I thought I'd make a video sharing my experience, so if you guys ever have to go get one, you know what to expect. Okay, so an EMG test. It stands for, and I had to write it down because it's long, an electromyographic nerve test. So basically what it does is it checks how your nerves connect, send information to your muscles and whatever other parts of your body. I'm not super clear on exactly the science of how it works, but that's basically just what it's testing for. Usually it's for neuropathy or any other nerve problems you could have. So the test is done in two parts. And my biggest confusion, I thought it was happening at the same time, but it's two separate things. So the first part, if you've ever had a TENS unit at, physical therapy or something, they put the little electrodes on you and it sends pulses. That's basically what it feels like. Some of it, they do go up in levels of how intense it is. It's never super painful, but some parts are just a little uncomfortable, but it's literally they were doing it on my elbow and my wrist and just be one and then a little bit stronger, another one, and then a little stronger, another one, and that was it. It went super quickly, and like I said, it was not super painful. If you've had a TENS unit, it's basically just what that feels like. So then the second part is when they take a needle, and if you ever had acupuncture, it's basically an acupuncture needle, but it has, I think it's electrodes. Again, I'm not really sure on the science, but it's just a needle with wires coming out of it. They stick in different parts of you. And they move it around a little bit, which is uncomfortable, but if you've had acupuncture, when they put the needle in you, they can move it around. That's basically what it feels like. It's nothing like an IV needle, not even when you get blood drawn. It's not like that. It's a very, very small needle. It did hurt a little bit at the top up here. That one was a little painful, I think because of the electrodes or whatever it is. This one kind of burned, it felt warm. But the rest of them were fine. I had a couple drops of blood, but again, it was nothing super painful. So when I went, I was laying on a bed, whatever, and they first just did my left arm. So when they did that, they do the muscle or the TENS unit of the shock thing first. And then I should be more clear. Nurses did that, and then they would leave, consult with the doctor, and then the neurologist would come in to do the needle part. So I did my arm with the electrodes first, and then the doctor came in and did the needles, and then we decided that they should test my legs as well because I haven't been having problems with my feet. So the nurses come back in and they do the TENS unit on my legs, the TENS unit, but the electrode part on my legs, and then they decide they don't need to do the needles in my legs, which I was very grateful for because it made me a little nervous. But it went pretty quickly. It took 30 minutes, and they only did the one side of my body because I told them that I didn't have a preference for which side of my body was worse. So maybe if you have a preference, oh, my right side feels worse than whatever symptoms you're experiencing, then they would test that side of the body. But for me, it was equal, both sides of my body had the same symptoms, so it didn't really matter which side they tested. So I got my results really quickly. I had my appointment at 8 o'clock in the morning for the test, and then I was supposed to have my neurology appointment to go over the results at 10:45, but there was a miscommunication with the hospital and it was a whole thing, so I didn't end up having it. I had a video conference later that day at 4. So you get your results really quickly. And what my neurologist told me is my test came back I was fine. But she said because of how nerve problems are, it could have just been I was having a good day. It doesn't mean just because my test came back, it looks fine. My symptoms tell her that there's something going on. It's just this test didn't show it, or just the day I took the test, I was feeling better. And we talked about that for a while. So for now, we're just going to observe everything. I was telling her that when I was in school and, a lot more active and all of that, my symptoms were a lot worse. But because of everything that's going on in the world, I've been home for a few months and not doing as much. So my symptoms have gotten better. So maybe, you know, that's the reason the tests look different or anything like that. But you do get your results really quickly, which I love. I hate having to wait for results. But for now, we're just observing everything. And it looks like in the future I might have to take it again. But now that I've been through it, I know it's really not a big deal. So I hope this short summary of what an EMG test is like will be helpful to any of you if you ever have to get an EMG test, if your doctor is thinking you might need one. I know news articles from like years ago say how awful they are, and mine really wasn't. I think the articles I read was from a while ago, and they said they've improved their technology or something. Not really sure. But I do hope that if any of you have it, it goes very well. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.